we're here tonight to celebrate an incredibly special, incredible woman. As you all know, I'm very blessed I get to work with some phenomenal people when it comes to podcasting, and Ellie has been one of those people who's come in from the get-go and just took the ball by the horns. She edits, she's thrown herself into all of it, and she won't tell you this, because I don't think I ever see her post on social media about it, but the show needs to be celebrated in a way that's kind of more analytical. It's top, I guess, it's been downloaded, just under 10,000 times. It's been listened to in 23 different countries. It's hit the charts in multiple locations around the world, including the UK, South Africa, Australia, and I think somewhere like, I don't know if it was Russia or somewhere we don't become push past. But she's incredible, and what she has got planned for you tonight is nothing short of remarkable, as you well know. Obviously you're here, you want to support her. But yeah, without further ado, I think that's the word, please go absolutely fucking mental for Ellie Forsyth.
Syndrome. This is mental. Yeah, thank you to Taylor. Thank you to this production company. I could not have done this without this guy here, genuinely, because I don't know anything about a podcast. I don't know how to edit one. I didn't know about recording. So I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you very much. In terms of this evening, we wanted to create a live event as a way of celebrating, obviously 22 productions, but you look happier. And I was on search for a guest. And I thought, well, what kind of guest do I want that will align with everything that the podcast stands for? And the guest that I am so grateful that she actually said yes, but the guest that I chose is someone that I find really inspirational because of the story that she has and what she has actually been through. So I can't wait for you to hear all about it. I've been chatting with her upstairs and I'm just really excited. So if I echo Taylor, without further ado, I would like to introduce Malin Andersson. Where's it? She's got her ears on. Hi!
Oh gosh, right.
You did well.
I did well. Hello everyone. Oh, my little Zaya's over there. Oh, this is the first live event that she's come to see me at. So we'll see how that goes.
We've said at the end we'll maybe get her up if she wants to. Okay, so welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this first live event, which is mental to even say. Obviously we've been chatting upstairs, but for anybody that doesn't know your story, which I'd be shocked if they didn't, but what we're interested in today is to understand about your journey. So obviously you are known as Malin from Love Island.
Yeah.
So that was where you sort of shot to fame and life started to change for you. But the Malin that sits here is not that Malin now. And what I'm interested in is what changed for you in order for you to sort of shed that version of you.
Gosh, I don't know where to. Oh, is this not on? You're lucky I've got a loud voice. Oh, that's better. Okay. Where do you want me looking, over here or at you?
Either. Whatever feels
Right.
most comfortable.
Okay, my journey has been wild, right? It's been a rocky ride, and to sit here today and to be able to speak about it feels quite surreal in some ways, because I don't know who on here knows me from Love Island, but it's more like, who was I before that? Before the fame, before I met the narcissists, before I lost a child, before I had eating disorders. Who was Malin at her very core? Who was that inner child inside of me, that little girl? And what I've done is strip back myself to find her again. And unfortunately, we go through pain to find our purpose. I had to go through pain to find out who I truly was. And that was what my soul's mission here was, clearly. It was like, you're gonna have a really shit life, but don't worry, you'll be right at the end of it. I'm gonna throw, a bit of abuse at you, baby loss, your parents are gonna die, you'll suffer with your body, but you'll be all right after. And if anybody had told me that, I would have been like, no way. But honestly, going through that has woken me up to who I truly am in the most saddest way. But it's how you navigate that change. It's how you navigate the pain. You can go one way or another, and there have been plenty of times I went through a dark path, whether it be addiction, cocaine, alcohol, trying to kill myself, overdose, and it's not been linear. It never is, especially when you're talking about grief and you're losing people that you love. And through that process, I have found me, but it's not been easy.
So you mentioned pain, a hell of a lot of pain. Like I can't even begin to think about, even just one of those things that you've mentioned is significantly traumatic. When was the first insight into pain that you recognised that you were just dealing with as a person?
Pain has looked so different for me in each occurrence that I've come across it, and we've crossed paths. When I've crossed paths with pain, each scenario has given me a different kind of outlook on it. And one person's pain or one situation isn't any different from somebody else's, right? We can't compare it because it's how we deal with it at the time and how it makes us feel. But when you lose your mum, it's a different type of pain. And I was 25 years old. It was the 25th of November, and it was 2:05 in the morning. The number 25 sticks with me everywhere, right? And that is when she died, and I saw her take her last breath. But when I went to the morgue to see her body, it was the most surreal feeling, because there was someone that I knew and loved suddenly was a dead object. And I knew instantly then that her soul wasn't in there, and that my life was going to change from that moment onwards. It's something about losing the woman that brought you into this world. That's a different type of pain. But then the universe was like, okay, let me make you lose a baby, a child that you've brought in now. So the two mixed together was the ultimate combo of pain in my eyes for myself.
So when you talk about losing the two of them together, like what was the kind of time frame? You mentioned that you were 25, and I know that your mum had struggled with physical illness for quite some time. You'd seen her sort of get better, you saw her then get worse again.
Yeah.
What was the timeline of this?
So when I was around 7 years old, my mum had breast cancer, and then she was all clear for a good 15 years. And then it was a year after Love Island, I came out, I was doing the whole partying thing. I was like, yeah, living the best life. And then I got told my mum had breast cancer in her other breast. And she was like, it's fine, we'll get it removed, it's all good. And little did the doctors know that she had stomach cancer, like stage 4, and it spread, and she died within 3 months of that diagnosis. And it was around that time that I met my ex, I'm gonna say his name, Tom Kemp, you bastard. As they love to prey on the vulnerable, right? We're talking abusive, real narcissistic, psychological fuckery here, okay? And he came towards me. I remember meeting him at a party. I was at my lowest. I was trying to drown the pain. I was drinking, sniffing on the weekend. Didn't know where my life was heading. I was falling apart, making no money. Everything had died down. My world was crumbling apart. And there he was. I'll save you, he says. Of course he did. And I found out I was pregnant quite soon with baby Concy. And that was within 6 months of my mum dying. And then that relationship went from love bombing for the first few weeks, really nice, like overly nice, to then cheating on me, hitting me, and emotionally abusing me within like 3 months. And I was pregnant. So it was a really, really tough pregnancy with Conti. I didn't actually want to keep her. I wanted to have an abortion at the time because I knew this wasn't right. And my brother and my sister and Tom all got together and they were like, no, you're not having an abortion, it's against God. They're very religious, very Christian. And so I had no choice in the matter. So I went through and I had her and she died. But it was the 6 months to 12 months from having her, I had to fight to stay alive for myself after she died and escape Tom because he wouldn't leave me be after she passed away. He made my life a living hell.
And this making your life a living hell was something that you were already experiencing. So you're already going through significant grief. You then found yourself in this relationship where he potentially fools you that he can save you because you're vulnerable and you're hurting. But this pain, you're already experiencing it from him. In terms of relationships, like, is that your first experience of an abusive relationship?
So I've had whispers and echoes of similar kind of relationships growing up, but never to this extent. This was my first full-on karmic relationship. When I was with him, it was triggering every wound I ever had inside of me, every bit of unworthiness, every bit of hating myself he brought out of me, right? And they say that when you meet people in life, they're there to teach you or show you something about yourself. And I used to be like, shut up, how is somebody physically abusing me and hurting me teaching something about myself? It was teaching me that I didn't deserve that, and I thought that was love. I thought it was acceptable because I didn't really know what love was. Losing my dad when I was a baby, I never had a stable father figure growing up in my life. I never had, this is what a healthy relationship looks like. So the men that I was with, I was with because I wanted to be loved and I didn't care how I got it, which is really sad. And until we look at ourselves and say, I deserve the most purest type of love, the most realist. If you don't know what that is, how are you going to get it? And so the men that I've been with have literally helped me in a way, make me find out who I am. They've shown me who I was underneath it all, because through that pain, as I was saying earlier, it's really contradicting, but it's true. I now can look in the mirror and say, I deserve real love, and I won't stop until I get it. So the universe likes to throw you lessons and tests, and it'll throw you a little bit of a narcissist or someone that's a bit, emotionally unavailable. And now I know the fucking flags. I know them, right? I can see them from a mile off. And it's whether you will settle for that. If you go, oh, there's a little bit, I'll excuse that. Or if you stay there and you go, no, I want the real thing, the whole package. And that's where I am now. I see my worth now, which I've never done before. And I think that's quite sad. As a women, we want love, right? We want to have that real thing. But if we don't love ourselves fully, I'm not talking a bit of self-love and a few bubble baths. I'm talking fucking love myself so much that I can strip myself bare, have no makeup, no hair extensions, nothing in the mirror, have your whole life falling apart maybe, but still love yourself to the core without anyone's external validation, without anybody telling you anything. That's when you know you love yourself, right?
Powerful, thank you. When we look at the universe sending us lessons, I say this all the time, everything that happens to us in our journey, in our story, teaches us something. You know that now, because as you said, you've done the work on yourself. But where was your mindset when all of this pain was going on for you? How were you sort of directing that inwards?
When I was going through everything,
yeah,
it was all a blur. When I look back at that period, it was like, my nervous system was just running on empty. I was running on caffeine, cigarettes, alcohol, living. I think I was trying to help other people online still at this point. I was trying to do the whole, these are the signs to watch out for, but I was suffering madly inside. And even though for me, I can storytell really well whilst things are happening, it takes a while to process what goes on with me, because you have to digest it. And I never did. I just kept going from the next thing to the next thing. And things were thrown at me at such a quick pace. But where I was at it was quite a dangerous place to be in, because I was running from myself still. I wasn't sitting with anything. I hated who I was. I hated how my life was. I was very fucking lonely. Loneliness has been like the huge narrative of my life. Like, you know, even with family and friends, I've always had the worst people around me, the false friends, the toxic people, the people that wanted to use me, want something from me. And I can only see now with this clarity, looking back at who I was and where I was, how messy everything was.
So with where we are sort of in your timeline here, the lessons were there, but you didn't quite know what the lessons were here. But the lessons kept presenting themselves, even with family and people that were around you. So this significant relationship that you were in, it was abusive, and then you lost your daughter. How did you navigate your way out of that situation?
I remember booking a flight to Bali about 2 months after to get away, because I couldn't get away from him. He'd be emailing me, I'd be blocking him, I'd be getting no caller ID, the whole shebang, right? Wouldn't leave me alone, abusive texts, and I kept going back. It was like an addiction. A narcissist is like a drug. You just keep going back. You think you need them, and they make you think that you need them. It's a pull towards hating yourself for doing it, but thinking that they're the only one that's going to love you because they make you feel like you need them, right? And so it was back and forth, and I went to Bali. I isolated myself for a little bit, and then I came back, and there he was, couldn't get rid of him. I remember meeting up with him. He broke my hand. He strangled me, and he was kicking me on the floor, sprayed deodorant in my eyes, calling me a whore, a slut, and I will never forget it. I had my phone out just a little bit on the floor. It caught a glimpse of him doing that to me, and that's when I pressed charges, and I never saw him again. And that it took that to happen for me to get rid of someone like that. And for me, you have to be on your own to heal. There's no question about it. You can't pretend to heal when you're with someone toxic, or you've got toxic friends around you, or toxic family for that case. I had to cut off a lot of people in my life. So what I did from that day onwards was spend a lot of time on my own. A lot of time on my own.
So you're in significant grief. You then escape. So you escaped to Bali, but then you came back. This trauma then was continuing and getting worse by the sounds of things. What was it that actually gave you the strength to press the charges and say, no, do you know what, I've had enough?
My friends at the time saw what I didn't see was going on. I went and did the Freedom Program. That educated me on what was actually happening to me, because I didn't actually know. And I think the more awareness we have in terms of education on psychology, and like, I was looking at the whiteboard and I was like, oh my God, that's what he did to me, and that's what he was. And then I was piecing things together, because you become in denial about these things, because you think it's normal. You think certain things are like, that's how a relationship should be like. And because I'd never experienced a proper, healthy, loving relationship, I thought that was that. So educating myself through YouTube videos. I remember going on YouTube and Googling, like, what is narcissism, you know? And then understanding it, that allowed my brain to be like, okay, that's wrong and that's right. And then from then onwards, I just put a lot of time and effort into making myself happy in whatever that looked like. We're talking COVID times. So I was isolated quite a lot because I lived on my own, but I partied, I did a bit of exercise. I was living a single life, and I still wasn't healed. You never are, you're always on a journey, but when was COVID? 2022, was it? 21.
Is that right?
Yeah, so we're talking 5 years ago. I would say the only past 2 years, everything has come up for me to be seen properly.
And to see yourself properly, by the sounds of things, as well, like internally. With the recognising you needed to block things out, you need to block people out. You did a lot of self-development work, figuring things out. But it sounds as though there was still some escapism there with like partying, alcohol, drug use. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so we live in a world, right, where everything's really accessible, and we'll see something online like, oh my God, yeah, there's a yoga class, or there's a retreat, or this is good for me, or I'm going to juice this and I'm going to have this smoothie, and you feel better for a week, and that was me basically, and then I'll be back on it on the weekend, sniffing and having wine, you know. And we think that external things will fill that void inside of us. And that's all I've ever done, whether it's shopping, whether it's dating, whether it's partying, drinking, anything that's outside of yourself that you're reaching for, there's a little something inside of you that's screaming to be seen. And what was happening to me was I was doing bits and bobs, dabbling in a bit of yoga and whatnot, but I didn't sit with myself. I didn't sit with who I am, you know? Sorry, what did you ask me again?
Just like the drinking, the drugs, and
the drinking, the drugs, yeah. So the escapism, I had to be really aware of it, but I carried that narrative on until I got pregnant with Zaya. Honey. I got pregnant with Zaya. I met her dad. I have to be really careful now. I didn't think about this. He's similar attributes to my ex, but very emotionally in that sense, if you know what I mean. So he represented a part of me that wanted nurturing and love, but was very emotionally unavailable. And that's her DAD. And so I spent a year with him when I was pregnant, and then he left me when Zaya was 2 months old. And that is when my whole world crumbled. I'm gonna get emotional.
Just take your time.
Because that is when all my demons came up. And I was sat with my daughter over there, and I did it all on my own. I had no mum, no dad.
Thanks, Dave.
And no friends that were there to support me. Everyone left around me. And she was the biggest awakening of my life because she forced me to see all the shadows that I'd kept locked away inside of me. Every time her dad would pick her up to take her for co-parenting, I was left with myself. And that is when I checked myself into this holistic rehab, took my time out, went sober, and that is when I had the craziest spiritual awakening of my life. And all I did was meditate for a few minutes. Literally, my ADHD brain would not allow me to meditate. I meditated for 2 minutes, and it opened up a part of my soul that I'd never experienced, and it forced me to look at everything I'd hidden, like my whole life.
Just thank you for being so vulnerable and for trusting all of us here by sharing that with us.
I don't know what, I think I'm emotional because she's here, and I'm seeing in the flesh what I have raised, and she's my biggest mirror as well. She's just amazing, but it's surreal.
And it's the first time as well. It's
the first time she's come to see me.
Like in live.
Yeah, live.
Special. So what I think we're all hearing here is pain, 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 and then significant pain where you found yourself at a crossroads, like breaking point. Holistic rehab, what is that?
So it's just a nice word for rehab, basically. They had yoga, a bit of meditation. There's like the crackheads there. No, I'm joking. It was a really nice place. It's just not accessible to people. I think it costs like around £14,000 for like 3 weeks. It was ridiculous, but it saved me. It gave me space from everything and everyone. It was 3 weeks. I educated myself on just alcohol drinking, but it was more the meditation. I'd never meditated before. And when I tell you that meditation changed the game for me, it allowed me to connect with my higher self, that source energy, that godlike creation, whatever you want to call it, whatever you resonate with. It put me in touch with that. And I'll never look back because it opened up how do I say this without sounding woo-woo like a witch? It opened up my third eye, my pineal gland, my awareness, and it also showed me all of the programming, the beliefs that other people had put on me, my parents, society, the masking, all of the pain. And all it's done for the past 2.5, 3 years is strip through all of my chakras, go through, the energy just goes through my body, and it will reveal itself in dreams, through meditation, and it's been wild.
Prior to that, were you a spiritual person? Like, did you have any idea about any of that?
Not really. I had a few crystals and a bit of sage and I thought that was it, you know what I mean? But I'd never, when people talk about spirituality, it's all like, oh, it's love and light and so much peace and everything's going to be fine. Let's go and get a camper van and be off grid forever. It's really nice to get a camper van because I did it with Zaya. But we have to exist in this 3D physical reality, right? We have to do the humanness. We're here embodied in a human body, right? And people like to run away from their shadow parts. And the shadow parts of ourselves is what makes us us, but we don't identify with that. So the shadow part of ourselves is a pain that we hide, whether it's sexual abuse or trauma or death or pain or bullying, whatever has happened in your life will be squashed into your subconscious and you'll start to forget about it. And that is when things like triggers or reactions, or you might encounter somebody and they bring something out of you, or you've got anger, or you're suffering with addiction, or you're obsessed with sunbeds because you want to be brown because you feel pale and you wonder, why am I not accepting myself with my skin colour? So there's all these things and you wonder why you are the way you are.
I've watched a few of your podcasts and your more recent sort of like social media posts all about spirituality and everything that you have sort of ignited within yourself. But for somebody that has, I'm not going to pretend I'm spiritual. I'd love to be, I really would. But this awakening that you seem to have had has really played a significant part in your life.
Yeah.
With the journey of checking yourself into the holistic rehab, did you realise that this was going to awaken so many different things for you?
No way, no. I went there just thinking, okay, this can help me just get back on track, take some time out, see what happens. The night I came home, I'm co-sleeping with Zaya. She's asleep next to me. I can't get out of my bed now. I don't know what I've done. It was around 2, 3 in the morning. I'm lying there, I'm asleep, and this electric feeling started at my toes, went through my whole body. My body was vibrating like I was like some exorcist, like some possession, right? I was like that, shaking in my bed. I remember waking up, I looked at her and I was like, is she okay? What's just happened? And I was like, oh, it must have been a dream. Like sleep paralysis. Anyone had that before? Yeah, and you're like, and you can't get out of it. And the next morning, I sat on the toilet, I'm in the bathroom, and I'm just looking at everything going, oh my God, we're living in a simulation, nothing's real. I was thinking, where's that come from? We're in the Matrix. I'm thinking, where am I getting this information from? I've not seen anything. Like, I don't identify with any of that. And then from that day onward, I questioned my whole reality and the world we're living in. And from that day onward, telepathy's kicked in, I can meditate, I can see auras, my intuition is really sharp, but that has come from clearing trauma out of my body because the body keeps a score, the body holds on to pain, it's in our DNA, it's in our cells. And the more you heal yourself through awareness, the more you are consciously connected to your highest self. Now, if I'd listened to myself now on stage, like 2 years ago, I'd be like, what are you talking about? You're an absolute psychopath. But every human here on this earth is capable of having heaven on earth and manifesting the life of your dreams and having abundant reality because we're here to consciously create. We're creating every second of our life with our thoughts. But unfortunately, our thoughts are being run off our unconscious mind. Our unconscious mind consists of trauma and pain, and we are living on autopilot like zombies. But we are living in a system that is designed to keep us like that. I'm not going to go into that right now. But yeah, the awakening changed my life forever. You can't undo something like that. But what it has done is it's allowed me to connect with Malin, who I truly am, but also be present in the moment so I can watch my daughter grow up, not be on my phone and not be here. Like I feel anchored into this reality. I'm not like too much up there, I'm not too much down, I'm balanced, living from the heart, you know? And that's the place where we're meant to be living from our hearts, not our heads. But we are all trapped in our heads through pain.
Even some of the pain that you've mentioned here, like sexual abuse, bullying, trauma, grief, you've experienced all of those. And you are living proof that you weren't a spiritual person really to begin with. Yeah, you dabbled or tried your hardest, which then makes me believe the journey that you've been on for now, it has significantly impacted you. It's worked because you're living it.
It's weird because, again, spirituality, it's almost become like another religion when it's not like that. It's all it is coming home to your authentic self. Spirituality is just a name for it. It's who are you underneath all of the conditioning, all of the masks that you put on for your co-workers, your work, your partners, your friends. When you take the mask off, who is sat here? Who are you underneath all of that? And that is what it did to me. It took away all of the layering so I could see who Malin Andersson is inside, you know? And what we are is we're here to experience joy and pain. We're here to experience both of it so we know what joy actually truly feels like. If we don't have the pain, we don't know what joy truly is. And unfortunately for me, I had to experience every angle so I could feel what joy is. And for me now, joy is found in the smallest moments. It sounds so cringe and cliche. It's the smallest moments. They are laughing or fighting or doing something weird, you know, make me laugh, and I'll smile for a second. And then it could be the fresh air, the nature, or animals, you know. And before I was seeking that high, that dopamine hit, it was a fake sense of joy through something outside of myself. But I can confidently sit here and say I feel happy now inside, and I've never had that before. That stillness. You know, being really anchored into this moment and not drifting or wondering or fearing something was about to go wrong.
We spoke a little bit earlier on about the shedding process of who you were to who you are now and what you needed to let go of and get rid of. And I think as human beings, we have, if we look at our timelines just as individuals, there are so many different versions of us. I think most of you that know me in here will know there's been so many different versions of me because we learn and we evolve and we change. Yeah. So with your journey and with yourself, the shedding process, did you find that challenging at all?
Yeah. No one wants to lose their safety, right? And we become so safe with who we think we are. And when that version of ourselves starts to melt away, we lose that, what's the word I'm looking for? We're like holding on to it so bad, and then you're like, no, and then it happens, and you're like, oh my God, who am I now? It's that safety. We do what's safe to us in that moment. It's like staying with a really toxic person, right? It feels safe to what our unconscious part thinks is safe, but we don't know what real safety is. So with every version that has left me, I have thanked her and I've been grateful for her because that has just added to who I am now. But when we talk about shedding, it's not just our external, how we look like. The shedding is, what am I holding on to that doesn't serve me anymore? You know, and for me, it was a lot of people, a lot of friends that didn't resonate with who I am now. It was either a trauma bond or there was codependency, or they wanted something from me, or they weren't fully aligned, but we're scared of being on our own, and that's what I found hard.
Did you find at any point your old life was trying to pull you back in?
Yeah, all the time.
Really?
Yeah, especially around drinking and things like that and partying. I had to be really stern with myself and be selfish and cut off things that weren't aligned with me now. And when things like that creep up, you see it for what it is and you say thank you, but no thanks. But you have to be strong enough to say no. It's understanding your worth behind it.
So with everything that you're sharing here, we've come to the element where you've recognised who you actually really are by letting go of a lot of things that weren't serving you, people, places, substances, potentially. And in doing so, you've found your inner self. That can't have been easy. It must have been difficult, as you say. It must have been challenging. Has being in the limelight, which you are, has that played any factor in this journey of healing?
Yeah, it's been a tough one to have a public life, but go through this awakening process in the midst of it. It's been a bit wild, I'm not going to lie, because I'll do the stories and do the things online, but then behind scenes, I'm there like, who am I? Like everything's stripping away and I've got spiritual psychosis or some bullshit, you know? And I'm there trying to meditate with and it's, I think I was put here, I know I was put here to speak, right? And to share my experience with others. So potentially maybe one of you sat here tonight can go home and be like, oh my God, who am I really? I want to get you thinking, you know? Because we become so attached to this identity and this version of us. But being in the public eye amplifies it because you've got the eyes on you. But I've navigated it in a way where I've been given this platform to speak. And for people to follow me from Love Island and see my transformation, that's amazing. People still identify with me as that person still. They will naturally drop off, right? So I'm going back into TV now and I'm going to be doing different things. And now I'm ready to do that because I'm the most truest version of myself. I wouldn't have been able to handle this before because I was so much pain. I look at Malin from Love Island, went in the villa with eating disorders, bulimia. You didn't know that, did you? In the toilet in the villa trying to make myself sick. They didn't show you that, right? All sorts of stuff. Sexual abuse a few weeks before I went in the villa. Didn't show you that, did they? Like, so you go into something so insecure, so vulnerable, you come out, you party, your mum dies, your daughter dies, you go, it's just mental. And you still hold it together and act like you're okay. So now I'm in a place where I can do some deep, meaningful work and help women and men to find yourself, find your true purpose of it all. But I don't think that many people in the public eye now are showing their true self because they're scared. There's a lot of fear around it, you know.
I think that's one thing that I really admire and respect about you. And I said, like in the intro, why I wanted to ask you to come on as a guest, because you are real and you actually do say the things that people are too scared to talk about or may think, oh, I'm not going to say that because it might show me in a negative light. With that transparency that you have, if we take it to, as you just said, like when you were in the villa, eating disorders, what you experienced just before you went in and you were going through while you were there, did you feel that confidence to be able to have the transparency at that time, or is that something that you've learned along the way?
Oh yeah, no way. I don't even know who I was when I was in there. I was like a little girl, you know, fight or flight, just surviving. I was like a functioning zombie. And it was all down to like no love for myself, like none, non-existent. She wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. There'd be no chance. I hid so much. Who's been on their archive on Instagram and seen their stories from like 5 years ago? Like I'd be there like, hi everyone, so today I'm going for this brand event and I'm talking so different. And my persona is different and you can see the pain in my eyes, right? The masking. And now I fear nothing because I've gone through so much pain, right? And I've seen the worst. I've felt the worst. I've been on my knees, like pleading to be saved, right? That I have nothing to lose anymore. I have nothing to lose at all. So if I can speak my truth and help people by being honest, because someone will relate to something, at least one thing, then my purpose here is being filled. But what have I got to lose? Really, there is nothing. The sun can print something, wankers. They can do something, but I don't care. I'm not in fear of anything anymore. When you believe in yourself so strongly and you're not in fear of anything outside of yourself, you are protected always. You know what I mean? Like nothing can bypass that strength that you have within.
One thing that I talk about and bang on about all the time is self-worth. How we view ourselves when we are at our most vulnerable, when no one else is around, what we genuinely really think about ourselves. And you're talking here about times when your self-worth was not what it is now, due to everything that you've been through. But also, you're mentioning fear, and fear is also a word I talk about all the time, because fear prevents us from being ourselves, from being our true self. Even with an example as the sun can print something, you've already had that. You've been through elements where significant pain, the worst has happened to you. So what I'm hearing here is you've got to the point where you've thought, well, you can't do any more to me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna use this as my strength. as a power, essentially, to shed some positivity.
Yeah, absolutely. What I did was I'd like tell my story before anyone else could. So if someone was going to sell a story about me sniffing cocaine, I'll do it myself, thanks. Do you know what I mean? But like, I always felt empowered by opening up with something that I've been through before someone else can use anything against me. And unfortunately, I have been with men that have threatened that. I have been with people that have used my life against me. And I reclaimed every part of myself back by taking that power back into my own hands and pushing fear out of the window. Like, fear doesn't run my life anymore, right? And that's the biggest thing for me.
Fear stops us and holds us back, because if we listen to fear, we wouldn't do the thing that we want to do.
No.
This kind of environment.
It's just a voice in your head. You shouldn't identify with that voice. That's called ego, right? That's your ego. It's there. It's not who you are. We are observing our reality. Okay, we're literally just projecting our consciousness on into this reality. But what fear does, we identify with that voice because it seems so real. God, if I identified with my voice, I'd be fucked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's when you get, and that's what meditation does. It stops the voice in your head. It's gone by like 85% mine now, and I've got her over there as a little psycho. And it calms that voice down, so it goes. And I remember being on fluoxetine, antidepressants, nothing worked. Nothing worked with me whatsoever. And that fear went through meditation.
Fear holds us back, stops us, but you found an avenue to be able to overcome it, you're saying here. You've mentioned you have ADHD, so meditating was something which was a real struggle for you. How did you experience it to the point where it actually worked for you, and what was that like?
So I hate labels. When we think we become this label, and it's something else to add on to the list of labels that you've accrued your whole life. And with me, the ADHD was just literally my manicness. I couldn't stop. Didn't know how to sit down. I was a mum, I was cleaning, I was cooking, I was working, running the household, doing this, doing that. My nervous system was so dysregulated and effed to the point where I was hitting burnout. And the only thing that was going to save me was just stopping and being still. Now, what meditation does is, all I did was just sit down like this, close my eyes, breathed in 4, held for 4, out for 4. And I did that until that voice in my head went. It took me 2 hours, I'm not going to lie. And then the next time it took me an hour, then the next half an hour. And now I can go like that within about 30 seconds. But I had to get through that first phase. It was horrible because I'd be like, what's for dinner?
So your mind would go elsewhere,
yeah,
right?
oh my God, you got to bring it back. So you just focus on your breath.
Right.
And that is it. You focus on your breath. There's no music, there's no guided meditation, nothing at all. Just silence. And then when you open up enough brain space through the meditation, so I do about an hour in the morning, 5 in the morning when she wakes me up. I try and do it before her. I just sit back on bed like that, close my eyes. When you do it consistently, you can start to see things, feel things, and things will come through that your brain has stopped you from thinking or feeling. Nasty things, not things you don't want, everything basically. The pain will be brought up for you to be able to deal with. And you start to rewire the neural pathways in your brain. It's amazing, honestly.
So are you sharing here, in order to meditate, and once you get to the point where you actually can meditate and it starts to work, I've never got there, but I'm going to try. So once you get there, the thoughts and the negative sort of feelings in your head, you're able to look at them with clarity.
Yes, why are they there? What are they? Where are they coming from?
Right.
Your dreams will become so vivid. You'll get signs, synchronicities, everything will start to align, and you'll see things for what they are, and you'll understand why you're carrying certain pains with you. Like, your vision becomes clearer. You're creating emptiness in a brain that is so foggy. You know what I mean? It gives you space.
Okay. So with the healing, spiritual awakening journey that you found yourself on, how has this impacted your sense of identity moving forward?
Wow, a lot. Like, I'm just trying to think about the timeline. I've always been a shapeshifter, right? Like, massively. It'd either be like really thick hair extensions, blonde hair, long lashes, really long nails, like boobs out, and then it'd be like dye my hair red, short, cut it all off. Like, you know, it's just been nuts. So with me, when I was a kid, okay, this is gonna be sorry, I was a bit of an emo, like I was a really weird, awkward, gothic, kind of punky skater girl. When I was like a teenager, I was like, no one talked to me, like fishnet on my arms and stuff. And I loved that. I was a bit of a quirky, weird kid. I was always a strange kid. And then as I got older, I tried to mask that. So you start to change with who you hang around with, what you see on TV, all of that jazz, right? So I got rid of that kind of version of me. And you go through different stages. So with this awakening process, I had to be stripped down bare. So November, October last year, I shaved all my hair off. My hair was falling out in the shower. I didn't know why. And I shaved it all off. I looked absolutely horrific. I didn't like it at all. I hated it. I cried in the mirror and I was like, what have I done? I look like I've done a Britney Spears. People are gonna think I'm crazy. Now suddenly I'm talking about the Matrix. People are gonna think I've absolutely lost it. Like, you couldn't write it. The timing was awful. And I did it, but I had to go through that process because I looked in the mirror and for the first time I saw myself and I was like, I'm not my hair. I'm not any of those things, man. This is my physical body here on earth. It's carrying my soul. It's just a vessel. Why have I identified with my appearance so much? So I stripped myself from that day onwards. Everything kind of went neutral. I was wearing linen, cotton, bit of boho vibes. I was just very plain. And then you put yourself back together how you should be put back together. So after that period of stillness and healing and blandness that your soul needs, you find out who you are through all of that. So I've come back to this phase of creativity. I'm creating my appearance based on what that true self underneath me wants to wear. Some dark red, some blacks, long black nails, you know. But it's coming through... Sorry. Zaya. I'm joking. It's coming through a place of expressing myself before it was coming from a place of doing it because my ex wanted me to have caramel hair. I used to love caramel hair all the time when I dye it. I want to look like this for me. And this is going to sound really nuts, but your image is a portal. It raises your frequency. When you really resonate with how you look like and you embody it because you want to, it raises your whole vibration of your body because you're expressing your inner self with your external reality. And then everything external starts to match your internal reality. So when you feel really alive in how you are dressed and how you look, but it has to come from your soul and your heart and not because anybody else wants you to look like that, because we live in a world where we see things online and we want it because someone else has got it. You've got to do it from what you really want. So if I'm wearing this black skirt and I've got my black long nails and I'm looking a bit punky, it makes me excited. It's a bit witchy, you know what I mean? And I used to love that when I was younger and it makes me excited to dress like this. It's not because someone else wants me to. That is raising my entire frequency of my body because I'm in a natural feeling of joy and happiness, you know? So that's where I'm at with that.
But it shows the journey that you've gone on to get there. Like you've trialed and errored with different styles, things that...
Oh, one thing, I hate my hair though. I'm trying to grow out any extension people in here.
I was just saying that to her upstairs.
Absolutely. No, I don't like it. Sort it out.
I said while he's downstairs.
What's this? Oh, no. I'm trying to grow it. Thank you. I do like my long hair. I do like it. I've had the short now. I'm like, no, it needs to go. It's like a mushroom.
So on that then, with your hair, is that like setting your soul on fire, raising your frequency at the minute with you?
Absolutely not. No, so I dyed it black. It was caramel. I dyed it black. I love the dark hair. This is just, it's growing now. What can I do? I can't do anything. I can do extensions though. I'm watching you. And I love having that long hair, but I had to go through that complete shedding. I had to get rid of it all to build myself back to how I should be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm accepting of how I am now, how I look like now. And it's weird because who's seen themselves naked in the mirror, like fully naked? Nothing on. I just had the word.
No one else, just me.
Like, it's only now I can fully look at myself, scars and all, right? Not just them, they know when people go, stretch marks, they're tiger marks. I'll be like, shut up, I don't like them. You know, like I can look at myself and be like, wow, like you're whole, like it's cool. Let's not exercise today to just burn some calories. Let's not undereat because you're secretly trying to monitor. Because those things would creep up really easily with me. Like they disguise themselves so well. I'd be like, I'm doing strength training 5 times a week now instead of 4, and I'm going to be doing it. And I'm still trying to control the narrative around exercise and food. But when you look in the mirror and you just accept all of yourself, you then don't mind what happens anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah. You stop controlling, you surrender, and actually things work out way better. It's that control we like to have as humans, and we have the feminine and the masculine in us, right? It's the yin and the yang equals creation. We will have it, and as women, we run off our masculine way more than we should. We were in that fucking fight mode all the time, like we need to do this, we've got to go up, get this done. We never sit back and receive and have that abundance flow to us. That's our left hand, our feminine, that divine remembrance of who we are, and just let things flow to us and just embrace. We're so like control. And that's one thing I had to undo, because my mum, Sri Lankan, God bless her heart, raised in poverty, tried to create a life for her children, and just all she knew was struggle. We don't have to struggle. It doesn't have to be like that. You know, and it's not even normal for me to be raising a child on my own. They say it takes a village, you should have friends and family, and the other half you should be with a man. Society today, it's not like that. We're here, and we should be nurturing and enjoying every moment and just being free. But I think it's about understanding why we are the way we are. And that's all I did. To make it sound a bit more simpler than me having my electric body come online at 2 a.m, I just had to sit back and be like, fuck man, stop controlling your life. Surrender to the unknown, trust, and let things work for you now. Stop trying to do everything. And honestly, my life has changed. I'll get an email, I'll get this, I'll get unexpected things come through. I have the best people around me. So I'm a fun fucking man, where is he? I'm waiting for him, that's the last thing. And I wake up not thinking of like, shit, gotta do this, make Zayas, pack lunch, do all of this. I just flow. And I've never been able to do that. I've never been able to just take things slow. Do you know what I mean? So.
It sounds as though you are basing your sense of self, who you are, on who you feel you should be, not who you think you should be in relation to somebody else's perception of you.
Yeah.
And that sounds like something that you've always done throughout your life, you know, changing your hair because your ex liked it that way. And
always.
Even with the disordered eating that you mentioned, like society, I imagine, put its sort of pressure on you for that, feeling that you needed to look a certain way.
With the food, I controlled a lot around my body because I couldn't control any other area of my life. People were dying, things were happening to me. The one thing I could control was exercise and food. And that felt safe to me. And that's where OCD stems from. Like I had mad OCD in my house as well. Like I remember, like my friends would stay over and sleep on the sofa and I'd be like spraying them with Dettol. I'm like, that is not normal, Malin. Like, what are you doing? But like I could physically see germs on the floor and I'm like, why is this happening? Like I'm wanting to control my external reality so much because my internal reality is falling apart. I can't control what's going on in here, so let's control everything outside. And that's the wounded masculine, and that's what we call it. The need to control everything and to not surrender.
So with that now, in relation to controlling everything internally because externally it was all falling apart, how does that sit with you now? Is that something you still try to do, or?
No, I don't do it at all. Now I can control my internal reality by raising the baseline. So through stillness, through healing, through sitting with myself and raising my core frequency, my reality will shift and work itself for me now. Now my reality works itself for what I want. I don't do the opposite. Do you know what I mean? I don't touch my external reality. I make sure I look after this vessel here. I'll have a bath, put some petals in there, chill for a bit, take myself easy. I don't overwork myself anymore. And when I look after this, everything else is taken care of. And it sounds fucking nuts because the last thing we want to do, especially as a single mum that has to provide bills and all that shit and work and all of that, is lose control. And I did it and it works. I promise you. It's nuts. This universe is magical if you look after yourself.
Thank you. So we've heard about your journey, we've heard about the pain, we've heard about the awakening that you've had. What is next in store for you moving forwards?
Marriage. I'm joking. I know what I need to do. I just need to let everything unfold, but it's TV's coming through, all of that jazz, talking, traveling. And for me now, I want to enjoy life. I feel like I only started to live around 2 years ago. like truly living for me is just being so present and not even planning too much about how my life's going to turn out, you know? Finding that excitement in each day and unexpected like things that just show up and show itself. And I do want to meet someone, I really do, but when I stop focusing on that and I understand that I'm complete alone, that is when you find that person, right? So
I think that's one of the most frustrating things that people say, isn't it? You have to be happy on your own first before you find somebody.
yeah.
But
Also, sorry, I am doing something really random. So I don't know if probably none of you knew who I was before Love Malin. I was a makeup artist, right? I've always loved doing makeup, really creative. And I don't know what came over the other day, but I'm going to be doing tattooing, like fine lining, ceremonial tattooing, like sacred tattooing on the
body
side.
tattooing.
Yeah, because I love drawing, I love art, and I'm going to be doing it just as like a little side thing, just for me really, but sacred because all my tattoos have come true. Like every tattoo is a freaking portal. It is insane, and I got these done like years ago as well. But I'm going to be doing that on the side, just like in a ceremonial setting, like really like intentional and be intuitive. So I'll be drawing the designs for the person and then it'll ask me what they are.
Okay, so it's not like a
Well, they can know what they
I've printed this out,
No.
I just saw this on Pinterest.
Yeah, so I'll be
You're
intuitively
gonna-
drawing what comes through, yeah, what
Wow.
I channel through. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's something I'm excited to do, you know, like random things like that.
Yeah.
And live a life away from helping all of you guys, doing something for me, because I find that stuff quite fun.
Yeah.
I don't know who in here is a creative. Anyone in here that like creates or draws or...
I could do with somebody drawing my tattoos for me.
Oh, there you go. But we are born to create, right? So you know when my little one is drawing or she's imagining and she's playing, as adults we lose touch of that. We lose sight of like what makes our soul spark. You know when I go on a bug hunt with her, I'm like, oh yeah, what bugs can I see? Fucking hell, I'm like, well excited. And I'm like, what? And it's like the little things we lose joy. We forget what it feels like. What did we like when we were children, you know?
Well, it's exactly that. It's reconnecting with your inner child.
Exactly. That's what I want to do.
I love that because you initially said, I'm not too sure what's going on for me in the future, but I'm going to trust in the process and not try to control it.
Yeah.
But also you have more of a soulful, spiritual, creative passion that you want to get
Yeah.
involved in, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so last question. I tend to use this theme with most of the podcasts here in terms of, right, you were here, you're now here. What do you feel the version of you, when she was at her lowest, needed to hear from you?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I need to picture her. I'm really, it's weird. When you try and think of yourself in a really painful moment, some people can video themselves crying on socials. I've never been able to do that. I've never understood that. Do you?
No.
No. Don't know why I mentioned it, but I was like, God, I've gone through a lot. I've never really shown the depth of my pain would be when my ex beat me up and I was covered in bruises and I looked in the mirror, my mum had died, everything fell apart and I remember sitting on the bed covered in bruises and that pain where you just want to kill you, like you are so low, I just wanted to go, disappear. If I could look at her now, I'd hold her, I'd put my hand on her heart, sit with her and say, just wait. You are loved, but you are love. Like you are the embodiment of love. And I think we forget that we are love. We are born with love. We are born so innocent as babies. We are so untouched when we come out the womb. Nothing has been projected onto us. We're so pure. That person is still inside of us, and we forget that. And all spirituality, or whatever you want to call it, self-development is reconnecting with that pure, untouched love inside of us. And that is what I would say to her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, we are at the end of our podcast today. Malin Andersson, everybody. It's too loud for all of us. Bless her.
Vea, can you bring her up? Can you come up?
So we wanted to offer the floor out if anybody had any questions. So we have one already. Hi, Eileen. We'll wait for Zaya to come if she's not too nervous.
Yes. She does it for attention.
She does it for attention.
Come to mummy. Come and sit on my lap. Come on.
Oh, here she is.
Come.
Whoopsie daisies. Beautiful girl. You okay for some questions, Malin?
Yeah. Do it.
Eileen, come sit down. Oh, thanks, Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you for your honesty. Incredible vulnerability. And for the record, you still won't Sheffield 25, which is really annoying. But you mentioned that you've got TV potential coming up. How are you going to protect yourself from social media content, awful people around there? How are you going to protect yourself from that? I mean, the walls and everything else.
I'm going to cast spells on them all. I'm joking. Not joking. What it is now, I used my trolling as this is really backwards. I used all my negative comments and trolling as fuel to heal myself. So I'd sit there, read the comments, and sit with how my body felt after reading them, and see if it affected things in me. And I did that until I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel pain anymore. And that's a really strange way of seeing it. But instead of blocking and deleting like I used to do, I'll read it, see what it makes me feel like. And if I feel a certain type of way, I'll be like, okay, where's this coming from? Someone said something about your weight or how you look. Like, where's this coming from, Malin? Oh, it's that little girl inside of you. When you ate something and your mum said, why are you eating that? See? So I then dealt with that comment. So what I would do now is, I feel like it won't affect me the same anymore because I've built this inner resilience up. But I would also send love back to them because I know that pain comes from pain. Hurt people, and I see it very differently now, you know. Whereas before I try and argue with them as well, like, look at you. So yeah, and I think it's the next era of my life where I'm ready for it. It feels different. I'm not vulnerable anymore. And reality TV to a vulnerable person is very dangerous.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So you mentioned obviously your ADHD during this. When did you get diagnosed with it, and how do you feel it affected you as a person, but also your healing as well? Obviously, it's really difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it became my superpower. It was about 3 years ago. I went private because the waiting list is it was ages, and I was like, there's definitely something like strange about me. I'm just like always like, she's got it too, massively. Can you tell? Look. But it's been my superpower because it's allowed me to get so much done. It was a stopping the noise. The meditation helped me balance it. Because when it comes to medication, it's helped some people, but for me, I don't believe in it with me. The antidepressants, all of that, it suppressed parts of me, man. Like, it made me numb to what I should be feeling. So, yeah, use it as your superpower, but honestly, meditation's a game changer for it. Really helps. She needs to meditate. She does like 10 seconds.
Thank you. Thanks, Laura. Anybody else? No, there's and there's another one at the back.
Can I just say, you've explained yourself, or not explained yourself, I want to say, but you've gone through your journey today. I just want to say, as a granddad, sitting here, I think you're doing a great job with that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Sham? Oh, God.
Do not swear, Shamara.
No, I just realised, oh my God, I've sworn so much. It's like passion though, I'm like,
I just want to say I think you're an inspiration to every single woman that's probably going through this whole situation that you've been through. And I think the way you speak about it, you explain yourself, so heartwarming.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anybody else?
God, I'm sweating. I'm sweating. Hot.
I've read part of the book and I've had like about 30 questions that I was going to ask you. However, I didn't get to the part where you're in the relationship with your mouse.
And I was just wondering, I've never been in that kind of relationship myself, but I've seen the aftermath, I've seen the effect that it has on somebody. But you can have the nicest relationships, and I have one at work. How would you give the best advice to somebody who thinks that they're going through it? Because it seems to be more, not popular, but more in the media type of thing.
Yeah.
And also with social media now, it's a lot easier to manipulate somebody.
Yeah, there's more recognition around it now. I remember when I was going through it, I was like one of the only advocates at the time. Like, I didn't even know what was happening to me. No one really spoke about it. To help someone going through it it's very difficult because you're in denial when you're in it. And as you said, the aftermath, coming out of the relationship, is actually harder than when you're in it, because it's like withdrawal symptoms, and then you lose your sense of identity. You've been gaslit to hell and back. You don't know who you are anymore. So that person needs you more after, you know. So you might come out of the relationship and people are like, oh, she must be fine now. It's actually finding who you are after that. It's speaking to them, giving them a safe space to talk to. But then if someone tried to speak to me when I was with my ex, I'd be like, no, it's fine. Like, I lied a lot because you're in denial. So it's making them know that you're there and that you'll always be here from a distance. But you cannot force anybody to leave something they're not willing to leave. I had to learn my lessons through it. Like, so many of my friends were like, get out. This is what I deal with every day. I'm not even joking. Like, times 10. She's actually behaving. So it comes down to that person, but just making them know that, like, you're there, you know.
Thank you.
Hi.
My question's about social media again. So your season of Love Island, going back to Love Island, I know that's not really you anymore, but I saw you post about Love Island a couple of weeks ago when it kind of came back to life, and your season was one of the first ones that kind of blew up, and where everybody became like, you know, Instagram famous, and social media has really evolved since then. It was big there, but it's even bigger now, and there's so much toxicity around that now. And like, what is your advice, or I guess guidance, for those people that are on Love Island now that are going to come out, but also the people that are ever considering going on now, which is not me, by the way.
Do you know?
There could be someone here that genuinely would want that for themselves, and I guess you've seen the real impact of Love Island, and you've been behind the scenes of what it's really like to be in that situation, and it's obviously impacted your life in some aspects. So, what is your takeaway from that?
We haven't even covered like the free suicides that no one really barely speaks about anymore. You know, as soon as Caroline Flack went, they shouldn't have even brought the show back. But what it is this show is not a dating show anymore. It's let's get some followers, get some brand deals, see what we can get. But there are so many people that have been spewed up out of this show that they become a number. And when they aren't satisfied with the outcome of going on a show like this, and the brands don't come in, the money doesn't come in, that's when mental health kicks in, because they think they're not good enough. The numbers aren't reflecting, you know, everyone needs a validation, but when the numbers aren't reflecting it, like the follower count or the parties that they turn up to, they're not getting the invites or they're not getting seen, that then diminishes their self-esteem. So you have to be very strong to go on a show like this, but again, as you said, it's not the same. It is not the same anymore. It's 90% set up. I think that's, like, mine was pretty set up, but now it's like really set up. But they're purposely putting in like really dumb blokes on there. Like, you know what I mean? They're like not self-aware at all. Like, why would you want to date that? It's like, it's weird, but there's not really diversity either. It's, put it, right, I don't want to say watching that shit, basically, put it that way. And I've been on it, you know, and I went through that because I, at the time, wanted it. I wanted to be famous. Oh my God, I just wanted anything. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be loved. Someone look at me, love me, like me. Like, and that's who I was then. But we all grow and we evolve. But when I look at the show now, I can see the emptiness in some of those girls' eyes. It's so painful, you know, and it's nothing wrong with looking like a Love Islander because they all look pretty similar. It's why are you wanting to go on there? Is it for fun or is it purely to be seen? Because you are so seen, you don't need something like that to be seen. And I think this is where we can get carried over with being an influencer. TikTok videos, Instagram, how many likes, how many views am I getting? I want to post this. Your worth is not dictated by a number. And as a society today, we're starting to think it is. Like, I remember me after my videos only got 100,000 views. Oh my God, tomorrow it's going to be better. Like, so fixated on insights. If I'm not good enough, brands won't want to work with me. And it's so sad. The minute I cut all of that off, I then realised that we are not tied to that. There's no correlation. But we seem to think there is because of the way the world is working. So again, you've got to be pretty tough to go on a show like that. But they like vulnerable people to go on there for the views.
Thank you.
So following on from that, would you say the way it pushed you into where you are now, would you regret going on Love Island, or are you still happy you did it because obviously you are where you are now with the platform you've got?
Yeah, so I'll never regret going on it because it was part of my journey. The platform I got from there, I lost most of it when I went on this kind of journey, especially with weight loss. After I had Zay, I lost around 6-7 stone through healthy eating, and they were like, you're not body positivity anymore, and loads of people unfollowed me, and then more people didn't. And so it's kind of mixed, and what I want is people to resonate with me and to learn from me and to not just see me as that person. And I'll never regret going on it because obviously it's led me to this very moment. I might not have had her, you know what I mean? Everything happens for a reason. So yeah, no regrets.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we're done. Yeah. So as I said, thank you so much, genuinely, for coming on. I think I did like a talking video on my Instagram. I was actually out for a walk with my friend, and I messaged you, and I really, really wanted you to come on. And then when you actually messaged back, I was on the walk with my friend. I said, oh my God, she's replied. So, and now you're here. So.
See, that's the power of the mind. This is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They don't tell you about how powerful we are. We are literally creating our life every second based on our beliefs and our thoughts. So powerful. So we must have been resonating, and then I'm sat here now. This has all happened. It's like a butterfly effect.
Yeah. So just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And also thank you to everyone for coming today. I'm really grateful. So this will be, it's being recorded. These are mics, aren't they? These are mics. I'm not going to lie, guys. I thought, I've got to hold something. I'm going to be shaking. But so we're aiming to get this out as soon as possible. Luckily, I don't have to edit this one. 22 Productions are going to do it. And we've even got 2 cameras, whereas normally we have one with my podcast. So look out for that one. And yeah, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you, everybody. I don't know how to turn this off. Thank you.
One final thing. Everyone's got a smartphone, everyone's got either Apple or Spotify. Go on your phones and make sure you're subscribing to You Your Caveat. And please make some more noise for Ellie for us.
Oh, I'm sweating. It's hot, isn't it?
There you go.